What happens when a movie becomes so influential that everyone tries to copy it? Some copies fail instantly. Others quietly evolve into something darker, stranger, and far more unsettling than anyone expected. Tonight, we're entering deep space corridors and sealed environments where survival is never guaranteed. These are the alien ripoffs that refuse to stay disposable. And some may haunt you just as long. Number 10. Life, 2017. Life begins with a deceptively clean promise. Life begins with a deceptively clean promise. Scientists aboard the International Space Station retrieve a dormant organism from Mars. It is microscopic, fragile, beautiful, and then it learns. What makes life feel like a true descendant of Alien is not the setup, but the pacing. There is no wasted movement, no comedic relief. Every discovery tightens the vice around the crew. The organism nicknamed Calvin evolves faster than any creature seen before. It adapts instantly. It does not roar or posture. It simply reacts with terrifying efficiency. This isn't a monster that hunts for pleasure. It hunts because survival demands it. That makes every encounter feel clinical and inevitable. The film understands the cruelty of space. There is no help coming. Every decision has consequences measured in oxygen and seconds. Doors fail. Systems betray their operators. Human compassion becomes a liability. These are the same existential pressures that defined Alien in life, leans into them with modern precision. What truly elevates life is its refusal to grant comfort. The crew members are intelligent and cautious, yet that doesn't save them. Knowledge does not equal control. The organism remains one step ahead, always. By the time the final act unfolds, the audience realizes the film has been quietly setting a trap. The ending is brutal, not because it is shocking, but because it is logical. The universe does not care about heroic sacrifice. It rewards efficiency. Life leaves you with the same hollow realization Alien did decades earlier. Curiosity opens doors that can never be closed again. Number 9. Pandorum, 2009. Pandorum disguises itself as a standard sci-fi survival film before slowly revealing something far more disturbing. Two crew members awaken from hypersleep aboard a massive colony ship. They don't remember their mission. They don't remember each other. And the ship is wrong. Corridors feel ancient. Lights flicker like dying stars. Something has lived here for a very long time. Unlike Alien, Pandorum is not just about a creature. It's about decay. Civilizations rot when isolated long enough. Humans adapt in horrific ways. The monsters stalking the ship are not aliens in the traditional sense. They are us reshaped by hunger, darkness, and time. The film leans heavily into psychological horror. Pandorum itself is a condition, a mental illness triggered by deep space travel and prolonged isolation. The line between hallucination and reality blurs constantly. Viewers are never allowed to feel safe inside a single explanation. As the truth unfolds, the scale of the story expands dramatically. This is not a small crew in danger. This is the failure of an entire future. The ship was meant to save humanity. Instead, it became a floating tomb and breeding ground for something feral. What makes Pandorum worthy is its ambition, and it takes the claustrophobia of Alien and stretches it across an entire generation ship. The result is messy at times, but deeply unsettling. By the final reveal, the horror is no longer just physical. It's existential. Humanity didn't just encounter monsters. It became one. Number 8. Event Horizon, 1997. Event Horizon asks a terrifying question. What if space itself is haunted? A rescue crew is sent to investigate a lost experimental ship that vanished during faster-than-light travel. When it returns, it brings something back. Not an organism, not a virus, something far worse. The ship is a cathedral of dread. Dark corridors pulse like veins. Gravity bends unnaturally. Visual design alone makes Event Horizon unforgettable, but it's the philosophy that pushes it into alien territory. Technology was never meant to go this far. Some doors lead somewhere humans were not built to survive. Unlike most alien-inspired films, the threat here is not external. It invades minds. It feeds on guilt, memory, and regret. Crew members are confronted with visions of their deepest traumas. Survival becomes impossible when reality itself turns hostile. The horror escalates rapidly. What begins as an investigation becomes a descent into cosmic punishment. The ship is no longer a vessel. It's a gateway. Hell is not fire and brimstone. It's isolation amplified by eternity. Event Horizon was misunderstood on release. Too violent, too bleak, too strange. Over time, it has earned cult status for embracing total nihilism. There is no containment, no victory, only escape, if you're lucky. In the end, Event Horizon doesn't copy Alien, it corrupts it. It replaces biology with damnation and proves that space horror doesn't need monsters to destroy you. Number 7. The Thing, 1982. The Thing is not technically an Alien ripoff, but spiritually it is one of its darkest siblings, where Alien trapped its crew with an external predator. The Thing destroys its characters from the inside out. Isolation is absolute. Trust becomes lethal. Every human interaction is poisoned by doubt. Set in an Antarctic research station, the film replaces space with ice, but the effect is identical. There is no escape, no backup, no rescue coming. The environment itself is hostile, and the creature exploits that perfectly. It can imitate any living being flawlessly. Once infected, there is no visual cue. Anyone could already be dead. What makes the horror unbearable is paranoia. The monster does not stalk loudly. It waits, it hides behind faces and voices. Every test becomes a gamble. Every alliance is temporary. Survival depends on suspicion. John Carpenter's direction is clinical and merciless. Long silences stretch tension to breaking points. Explosions of violence arrive suddenly without warning. The practical effects remain some of the most disturbing ever put on screen. Bodies distort and merge in ways that feel obscene rather than entertaining. Like Alien, the film refuses reassurance. Intelligence does not guarantee survival. Leadership collapses. Order disintegrates. By the end, no one is certain who is human, or if humanity even matters anymore. The final moments are devastating because they offer no answers. Two survivors sit in the cold waiting for death or something worse. The Thing ends not with triumph, but with exhaustion. It understands what Alien taught first. In isolation, horror doesn't need spectacle. It only needs time. Number 6. Deep Star 6, 1989. Deep Star 6 takes the Alien formula and submerges it beneath the ocean. The result is raw claustrophobia magnified by pressure darkness and isolation. A naval construction crew prepares to activate a deep-sea weapons platform. Something ancient is disturbed, something that should have remained buried. The underwater setting is not a gimmick. It functions exactly like deep space. Crushing pressure replaces vacuum. Equipment failure is fatal. Escape routes are limited. The ocean is an endless hostile void pressing in from every side. Unlike more polished counterparts, Deep Star 6 embraces a grim tone, early. And there is no humor to ease tension, no stylish confidence. The crew feels expendable from the beginning, and the film leans into that discomfort. Deaths are abrupt and cruel. The creature itself is not elegant. It is blunt, ugly, animalistic, and that works. This is not a mythic monster. It is a territorial force reacting violently to intrusion. Humans are trespassers, and the environment sides with the creature every time. Where Deep Star 6 succeeds is pacing. The film wastes little time explaining motivations. It understands that fear thrives in uncertainty. Viewers never fully grasp the scale of the threat. They only understand that systems are failing and people are running out of air. Like Alien, the film punishes arrogance. Military ambition triggers catastrophe. Technology collapses under pressure. And survival becomes individual rather than collective. By the end, the ocean swallows evidence quietly. Humanity leaves nothing behind but wreckage. Number 5. Leviathan, 1989. Leviathan refines the underwater alien concept into something slicker and more character-driven. A mining crew working on the ocean floor discovers a sunken Russian vessel. Inside is a warning no one heeds. Contamination follows. Mutation begins. The film understands that fear grows from familiarity. The crew members feel like professionals. They bicker, they joke, they work efficiently. When horror arrives, it disrupts a functioning ecosystem rather than a disposable group. That makes every death feel heavier. The creature is born from human interference, a genetic experiment gone wrong, corporate secrecy, Cold War ambition. Leviathan echoes aliens' obsession with profit-driven recklessness. Lives are expendable. Data is not. Visually, the film excels. Metallic corridors echo with distant alarms. Water leaks through cracks like a living thing. The creature evolves grotesquely, combining human features with something monstrous and unrecognizable. Body horror becomes a central theme. Infection is worse than death. Unlike many imitators, Leviathan balances action with dread. It never rushes its reveals. Tension builds through environmental collapse and psychological breakdown. Characters turn on each other as trust erodes under pressure. The finale delivers catharsis without relief. Escape is possible, but survival leaves scars. Leviathan may wear its alien influence openly, but it earns its place by understanding the core lesson. Our isolation doesn't just create monsters, it exposes what humans become when cornered. Number 4. Life Force, 1985. Life Force begins like a grand space exploration epic and slowly mutates into something far stranger and more unsettling. A space shuttle crew discovers a massive alien craft hidden inside the tail of Halley's Comet. Inside are perfectly preserved humanoid beings. One of them awakens something humanity was never meant to touch. Unlike Alien, this horror is not confined to a ship for long. It spreads. Infection becomes erotic. Desire itself turns lethal. The alien presence drains life force from its victims, leaving husks behind. London collapses into chaos, not through invasion but through appetite. What makes life force worthy is its ambition. And it takes the idea of alien contamination and expands it to societal scale. Alien showed how one creature could annihilate a crew. Life Force asks what happens when the same principle infects civilization itself. The film is unapologetically excessive. Practical effects are grotesque and operatic. Bodies crumble. Energy arcs through the air. Entire cities descend into madness. Underneath the spectacle lies a cold cosmic idea. Humanity is insignificant food drifting through a hostile universe. Isolation still exists here, but it is metaphysical. Characters are separated from their own humanity. Desire overrides logic. Science fails to contain the unknown. Authority collapses immediately. Life Force was dismissed on release for its excess, but time has been kind to its audacity. It feels like Alien filtered through apocalyptic nightmare logic. Space did not just bring something back, it reminded Earth that it was never in control. Number 3. Creature, 1985. Creature is often remembered for its strange casting and uneven tone, but beneath that lies a surprisingly faithful alien imitation that understands atmosphere. A scientific expedition arrives at a distant moon to investigate a lost crew. What they find is silence, decay, and something hunting them in the dark. The film wastes little time establishing dread. Corridors are narrow. Lighting is minimal. Sound design emphasizes emptiness and sudden violence. The creature itself is unapologetically derivative, but effective. Teeth, claws, speed. It exists only to kill and survive. What separates Creature from lesser knockoffs is patience. It does not rush, reveals. It allows tension to accumulate through isolation and uncertainty. Characters make rational decisions and still die. Competence does not equal safety. There is also an undercurrent of exploitation. Corporate interests override caution. Information is withheld. Human life is secondary to discovery. These themes mirror Alien directly, and Creature leans into them without irony. The performances are uneven, but the mood carries the film. The creature feels like a natural extension of its environment, a predator perfectly adapted to its territory. Humans are invaders. Creature does not reinvent the formula. It respects it, and in doing so, it becomes one of the most honest alien descendants. It understands that space horror does not require originality. It requires restraint, dread, and inevitability. Number 2. Galaxy of Terror, 1981. Galaxy of Terror is loud, shameless, and often outrageous, yet it understands Alien better than most respectable imitators. A rescue team lands on a hostile planet, responding to a distress signal. The terrain shifts unnaturally. The environment reacts to fear itself. The planet is alive in a psychological sense. It manifests nightmares. Each crew member is punished through their deepest terror. Deaths are personalized and cruel. This is not random slaughter, it is tailored annihilation. Produced under tight budgets, the film compensates with imagination. Practical effects are grotesque, lighting is surreal, sets feel unstable. The planet does not obey natural laws, and that makes it terrifying. Where Alien used biology, Galaxy of Terror uses the subconscious. The threat is not one creature, but a world that knows you. That twist elevates the film beyond exploitation into something mythic. Despite its excess, the film never forgets isolation. The crew is cut off from reality. Rescue is impossible, authority collapses quickly, survival becomes individual and fleeting. Galaxy of Terror influenced countless later films and games, often without credit. Its ideas echo through sci-fi horror decades later. It may be messy, but it is fearless. At its core, Galaxy of Terror understands Alien's secret weapon. Fear is more effective when it feels personal. The monster does not just kill you, it knows you. Number 1. Inseoid, 1981. Inseoid is the Alien ripoff that went too far for its own good, and that is precisely why it endures. Released during the early 80s video era, Panic! This British sci-fi horror was condemned, dismissed, and buried. But beneath its notoriety lies one of the bleakest and most psychologically disturbing responses to Alien ever put on screen. The setup feels familiar, a scientific expedition on a distant planet, ancient ruins, a hostile environment. But then the film makes a turn most imitators would never dare. The horror becomes internal, personal, uncomfortable. A female crew member is attacked and altered by an alien force. What follows is not survival horror, but transformation. The protagonist does not fight the monster, she becomes it. The film tracks her gradual loss of humanity with brutal clarity. Rational thought erodes, empathy vanishes. Survival becomes instinctual and violent. This is not possession played for spectacle, and it is erosion played for despair. Inseoid understands a truth Alien only hinted at. Space does not just kill you, it strips you of identity. Isolation breaks morality. Trauma reshapes behavior. By turning the victim into the threat, the film forces the audience into moral freefall. There is no clean enemy, no external evil to destroy. The tone is relentless. There are no jokes, no relief. The environment is cold and indifferent. The remaining crew members are trapped between sympathy and fear. Every decision feels wrong. Every outcome feels cruel. The ending offers no redemption, only inevitability. Inseoid refuses heroism entirely. It presents space horror as tragedy rather than battle. It was rejected because it was too bleak, too intimate, too uncomfortable. But time has proven its power. Inseoid is not a knockoff. It is Alien's darkest reflection staring back without mercy. Alien didn't just create a monster, it created a blueprint for dread. These films followed that signal into isolation, paranoia, and cosmic indifference. Some refined it, some twisted it, and a few proved that imitation can still reveal terrifying truths. Space never stopped being hostile. We just stopped listening.